Who is Hawkman of the absolute universe, and how does he measure up against Superman? The nation of Kahndaq, 1940. Carter Hall lowers himself down the vertical antechamber of Teth Adam's tomb, marveling at the strange hieroglyphs. As he passes them, he stops for a moment. His flashlight illuminates a golden mace. His eyes widen at the hieroglyphs surrounding it. Good Lord, if I'm reading these hieroglyphics correctly, some of these items must have been gifts from Impossible, he whispers as he sees images of strange beings from another world. We must move carefully. Lazarus is paying us to catalog every inch of this tomb. Hall calls up to his friend, but suddenly he feels his rope begin to twitch, and Hall looks up to see his friend cutting the line. You're right, Dr. Hall. Lazarus pays well, but Berlin pays better, the man says as the knife slashes through the rope. Hall begins to fall, but manages to catch himself on the ledge that holds the mace. Berlin never took you for a Nazi, Bradford, Hall grunts as he tries to pull himself up. I never knew how much gold the buggers had. Nothing personal, Carter. Just stay out of my way, Bradford sneers as he begins to lower himself. Carter struggles to pull himself up, but begins to slip. Despite this, he reaches out and grabs hold of the golden mace. Suddenly, it seems to become liquid, the metal sliding along his arm and wrapping around him. Above, the peacemakers begin to surround the well the two archaeologists climb down, screams echoing upwards. They all jump back as Carter Hall flies upward, now armed with a blood-splattered mace and sporting a pair of golden wings. It's all right. I know what it looks like, boys, but trust me, I'm one of the good guys, Hall tells them. Present day. Hawkman and Superman float high above the earth. Hey, you hear me, kid? I said I'm one of the good guys. I'm here to help, and Lord knows you need it, Hall tells the young Kryptonian. But suddenly, Superman flies away in a red blur without answering. What the hell? Hall whispers. Superman suddenly returns just as fast. Sorry, the door fell off a plane over Cleveland. Hi, I'm Superman. I like your wings, Cal says with a smile. Hall just stares at him for a moment. I said that you and I have a lot to talk about. I've been watching you, and I gotta say, you aren't, Carter starts to say. But Superman suddenly disappears in another blur, and he returns just as fast. Hey, sorry, I thought a guy was choking in Omaha, but he was just laughing weird. We should probably postpone this conversation. I'm kinda busy, Cal starts to say. But Carter reaches out and grabs hold of his wrist. Cal looks down in surprise as he feels the strength in the man's hand. Hey, don't do that again. There's always people in trouble. We're talking here, Hall hisses before releasing Superman's wrist. Cal rubs it gently. Your grip. You're not from Earth, are you? He asks. Born and raised in Gotham City before the place went to hell. Wouldn't catch me dead there these days, Hall tells him. The helmet slides back to reveal his face. I'm Dr. Carter Hall, archaeologist, retired, but back during the war when I was flying around busting Nazi skulls. They called me the Hawkman, Carter says, explaining that the armor he wears is made out of nth metal from the planet Thanagar. Never been there myself, but you're from somewhere out there, right? You ever heard of it? Carter asks. Cal stares at him in shock, but Carter merely smiles. Come on, kid, let's take a walk, he says as he turns away. Meanwhile, at Lazarus headquarters in Metropolis, a peacemaker slips through the shadows and finds agents from Gate seizing assets from the abandoned Lazarus building. He taps his helmet and reports in. Finally, he nods. Understood. As you wish, Lady Talia. Lazarus means forever, the peacemaker says before opening fire. His rounds slam into the box the men are carrying, releasing a strange purple mist. Something lashes out, tendrils leaping up and beginning to worm their way into the man's body. He lets out a scream of pain before going silent. Meanwhile, Carter and Cal are flying over the mountains. Despite what everyone seems to think these days, freaking out like you're the second coming, you ain't the first man who could fly. I wasn't either, and I've been at this for a long time. Long enough to see twinkle-toed hotshots like you come and go, Carter tells him. Cal looks at him in surprise. There have been others? With powers? Cal asks. Carter shrugs and points out that there are other people in the world now. The Big Bat, the Witch, some runaway from Project Olympus. Whatever the hell it was landed on Evergreen, Carter explains. But Cal shakes his head. He hasn't heard any of it. All I hear are screams, he whispers. Yeah, guys like you are always the same. Pop up one day, convince yourself that you're special, unstoppable. Figure, why not change the world overnight? Iron Monroe, Wesley Dodds, Dr. Fate, Oliver Queen, Carter says, but explains that all of them failed, that they all tried to change the world and were beaten down for it. You want to make a difference, you don't do it by basking in the spotlight. 80 years I've been at this. I've saved millions by now, and not one of them knows my name. Because I did it the smart way, Carter tells him. And what way is that? Cal asks. Carter glances over at him. I can show you, kid. Those others, they wouldn't listen. I don't want to see you end up like them, Carter tells him, explaining that he needs to stop feuding with Lazarus, that he needs to work with them to make the world a better place. Cal's eyes darken at the idea. Work with Lazarus? The people who tortured me? Brutalized my friends? Who want to subjugate this planet? The people who try to make me a mass murderer? Cal asks. But he suddenly glances away. The screams have become too loud. Hey! You're about to run off again, aren't you? Carter says as he sees Cal looking away. Superman, you walk away from me now. We're gonna have a problem, you and me, Carter growls. Cal turns back to him and smiles. Okay, Hawkman, I won't walk away from you, he says. The red dust cape suddenly reaches out and grabs hold of Carter. Cal turns and flies away in a blur, pulling Hawkman along with him. Meanwhile, Lois Lane has arrived at the Daily Planet, but she is confused as she is staring at the building next to the one with the giant Daily Planet globe on top of it. Let me guess, you're lost? A man asks as he comes out of the Daily Planet offices. Lois nods, explaining that she doesn't understand the address. The man motions to the old Daily Planet building. Old Planet building got turned into condos years ago. The newspaper office is on the 8th floor of this rat hole. Good luck with your interview, the man calls as he turns away. How do you know I was here for an interview? Lois asks him. The man stops and turns back with a smile. Because I've read your work, Miss Lane, he tells her, introducing himself as Perry White, former editor on the Planet's Metro desk for 35 years, up until about 10 minutes ago, he says as he turns and walks away, wishing her good luck. Lois's phone suddenly buzzes, and she looks at a message from Jimmy Olsen. Just got a job at the Daily Planet. Any idea what a Metro desk editor does? He asks. But suddenly, the streets are filled with screaming. Lois doesn't have time for her interview as she turns and starts to run towards the trouble. Meanwhile, Cal is flying towards Metropolis, Hawkman still being pulled behind him. Sorry about that, Hawkman, but something's happening in Metropolis, Cal calls to him. But Carter has broken free of the dust and smashes Cal with his hammer, sending the Kryptonian sailing through a nearby parking structure. Cal pushes the car off and struggles to his feet. What the hell do you think you're doing? He demands as Carter flies towards him. Teaching you a lesson, boy. One way or the other. Let him scream, Superman. Let's see if you can save yourself. Cal blasts him with heat vision, but Carter quickly twists around the attack and hits him again with his mace. That it? Microwave eyes? That the best you got? Carter asks as he slashes Cal with his wings. The red dust begins to whirl through the air, reaching out for Carter. You ain't fighting peacemakers no more, champ. You're gonna need more than some fancy cape to save your ass, Carter taunts, and he shocks it with his mace. Cal leaps up into the air with a shout of rage, taking a swing at Hawkman, but Carter easily knocks it aside. Pathetic. Guess you figure you're so strong, you don't gotta learn how to actually throw a punch. Carter scoffs as he slams the mace into Cal's stomach before hitting him again and again. You're fast, but fast and clumsy is still clumsy. Without me, you'll be dead in a week, Superman. But finally, Cal grabs hold of the mace, his eyes glowing with anger as he punches Carter hard, knocking him down through several buildings into Metropolis's subway system. Cal floats in the air, catching his breath, but Carter quickly returns. The two prepare to continue the fight. But suddenly, the roar of a giant creature echoes through the city streets. What in the name of all that's holy is that? Carter hisses. They both turn as a massive creature pushes through the city, the citizens fleeing before it. I told you, either help me save Metropolis or stay out of my way, Hawkman. This is the only fight that matters, Cal tells him as the two stare at the giant monster. Meanwhile, somewhere in Missouri, Lex Luthor sits on his porch with the stranger that came knocking. Lex is shocked at the man's offer, a mysterious, high-paying job. I mean, why me? Are you sure you got the right Lex Luthor? Lex asks. The bald man smiles at him. After extensive research, your name came up as the absolute perfect candidate, the bald man explains. But Lex shakes his head, explaining that he has everything he needs right here. His home, his wife, and 2 children. He doesn't need anything else. The front door suddenly opens to reveal Lena and Alex, who call for their father to rejoin his birthday party. He smiles at them. Sure thing, kids. Tell your mother I'll be right there, Lex tells them. He stands and leads the bald man through the house, explaining that he could never take a job that would take him away from his family. But don't feel like you have to rush off. You're welcome to stay for a slice of cake, Mr. I'm sorry, I don't think I ever got your name, Lex says as he leads them into the backyard. The man smiles, his image suddenly shifting as the hologram disguise falls away. Oh, I won't be leaving. You're not the Lex Luthor I thought you were. You're nothing like the man of unquenchable ambition you're meant to be. You see, I've seen beyond this universe. I've seen a Luthor who raised himself up to throttle gods with his own hands. This version of you seems to lack the necessary motivation, Brainiac says as his human form disappears. The partygoers all scream in fear as his limbs transform into chainsaws. But that's all right. My name is Brainiac, and I'm told I can be quite motivating. Let's get started. And that was the complete story for Absolute Superman, issue 16 by Jason Aaron. A first look at Hawkman of this universe, as well as the potential creation of the Lex Luthor. But let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below, and like and subscribe to help out the channel. I'm Dan with Comicstorian, and we will see you next time. Rest in peace, Benny.